Hello everyone, today we're going to talk about the depreciation and how we're going to compute for it and how we're going to record it and then how are we going to present it in our balance sheet. So let's go.
Depreciation. Depreciation, we have different ways on how we're going to compute for depreciation. However, for this lesson, we are going to discuss depreciation using the straight line method. So how are we going to compute for the depreciation using the straight line method? Now, before we proceed, we have to define first what is depreciation. Depreciation is the gradual decrease in value of property, plant and equipment, or our fixed assets due to use or physical deterioration, inadequacy and obsolescence or outdatedness. So, we have different fixed assets yung mga gamit natin, our computers, our buildings, our houses. They decrease in value. Ibig sabihin nun, bumababa yung kanilang value dahil sa daily na paggamit natin, that is physical deterioration, or due to inadequacy, ibig sabihin nun, bumababa ang functionality niya. Obsolescence, ibig sabihin naman nun, nagiging obsolete na siya or outdated na siya kasi may mga bagong technology na dumarating. So, there are two types of depreciation. So, we have the physical depreciation, that is the that is a deterioration of our property or our fixed assets due to our daily use or physical use. And functional or economic depreciation is the slowing down of the machineries, or yun nga yung obsolescence niya, na o obsolete siya, or mas bumababa na yung function niya. O kaya mas bumababa yung production kasi niya. Kaya yun. So we have physical depreciation and functional or economic depreciation. Now, the computation of depreciation, we're going to use the straight line method here. So there are different or several ways on how we're going to compute depreciation. However, for this lesson, we're going to use straight line method. The other methods will be used or will be discussed in higher accounting subjects. Now, let us consider first things in computing for the depreciation. We have the cost, that is the purchase price, including all associated expenses during acquisition. Ibig sabihin nun, kapag sinabing cost of an equipment or cost of a fixed asset, that is yung pinambili mo plus yung mga ibang ginastos mo para makuha mo yung bagay na yon. So for example, we are going to buy a refrigerator. Kasi hindi niyo kayang buhatin from the store going sa bahay ninyo, pinadeliver ninyo and may additional cost. So the cost of the refrigerator will be the purchase price, which is sabihin natin 20,000 plus delivery fee na 1,000. So your refrigerator would cost 21,000. That would be the cost. Sa mga lupa naman o kaya mga real estate, that is the purchase price plus yung mga iba pang expenses or fees na binabayaran. Like for example, attorney's fees, transfer fees, taxes, mga ganyan. Lahat-lahat yun, that would all be composed of the cost. So, ayan. Next is, another thing to consider is the scrap value, or we call it residual value or the salvage value. The scrap value is simply the estimated amount of the property at the end of its life, or sa end ng paggamit mo after how many years of using it. What do you think is the value of that asset? Kaya tinatawag natin scrap value kasi parang literal ba siya na kapag dadalhin mo yan sa junk shop, ginawang scrap, magkano yung value kaya niyan? Magkano yung natitirang value niyan? For example, sa TV na hindi gumagana, magkano kayo yung tingin mo value niyan habang hindi pa ginagamit? Mga ganyan. So, that is the residual value or the salvage value or the scrap value. Now, paano ba natin, saan natin kinukuha yan? We estimate the value of that kasi wala kasing certain na amount na or standard na amount. So minsan nasa ano natin 'yon, sa sistema natin 'yon. The others would set it as 5% of the cost, or the others would say it would be 10% of the cost. So, depende yun kung ano na yung magiging policy ninyo o sa organization or sa business ninyo. And another one to consider is the estimated useful life. Estimated useful life is simply yung tinatansya mo na gaano katagal na gamitin mo yan bago siya masira. Like for example, so walang standard na number of years. So nasa policy pa rin yan ng company o kaya ng business kung ilang years kayang estimated life nun. So as for example, sa government natin, yung estimated useful life ng mga IT equipments like our computers and also our cell phones, they estimate it to be functional until 5 years only. So, yun yung estimated lang naman yun. So, yun ang mga dapat nating tingnan, i-consider natin sa depreciation. And another is, sa depreciation is that is one of, we can also say that that is the pagbaba ng value ng isang bagay. Like for example, sa isang tao, habang bata ka, di ba? While you are in your youth, that is that is the peak of your life, you're very, very healthy. But as the years go by, bumababa yung strength mo, bumababa yung functionality mo. So, yung mga nawawalang strength mo, that is your depreciation. Parang ganun siya. Kumbaga sa tao, i-compare natin ang depreciation. So, ayun yun. So, that is for this that we have to consider in computing for the depreciation. So, when we compute the depreciation expense per year, we have the formula, the cost, kaya nasabi ko, cost minus scrap value, divide it by the estimated useful life in years. Now, bakit kailangan nating i-compute ang depreciation expense? Kasi ang mga gamit natin, gaya ng sabi ko, as the days go by, bumababa yung value niya. Yung pagbaba ng value niya every year, yun yung tinatanggal natin. So, let us say, pag bumili tayo ng cellphone, gaya ng sabi ko noon sa mga naunang videos, we do not record it as an expense. Yung pera natin, napalitan lang siya ng cellphone. Pero habang ginagamit kasi natin yung cellphone, nababawasan yung value niya. And then yung part na nawawala sa cellphone na yun, yun yung kinoconsider na natin na expense natin. Yung binabawas natin sa buhay niya. Yung functionality na yung nababawas sa functionality niya, yun yung expense natin na bumababa. Yun yung expense natin na tatanggal doon sa cellphone na yun. So, ina-allocate natin maybe per month or per year. Kasi ang estimate natin is monthly siguro, nababawasan yung value niya. And yung gaya ng sabi ko, yung value na natatanggal, that is the expense. So, there are two ways on how to solve it sa straight line depreciation. We can use this formula, or we also have the other formula, which is the straight line rate times the quantity of the cost minus the scrap value. We are going to use the two formulas in this video, and I will show you how to do it. And in the end, makikita niyo na pareho lang naman yung sagot niya. So it would be your choice kung alin yung mas maganda gamitin niyo, kung eto ba o yung isang nauna na pinakita ko. So first, we have to see first the first formula. We have to use the first formula. Pero dito, yung straight line rate sa formula na ito, the rate is simply 100% divided by the estimated useful life in years kapag gagamitin natin ito. So, we start with computing. Sabihin nyo, ma'am naman, math no naman. Masaya mag-math kasi we use math daily. So, for example, we are going to use this. Let's have a situation which I took from your module, and then the module is prepared by the central office. So, example, we have this one. You can also see it in your module. The laundry equipment, which was purchased by ALS or Alpha Laundry Services on June 5, 2018 at 150,000, has an estimated useful life of 5 years with a salvage value of 10,000. Compute for the monthly depreciation. Now, paano yan? Monthly yung depreciation natin, pero yung formula natin is in years. So, simple lang. Divide mo siya ng 12. Okay, tingnan natin paano. So, we are going to solve for that. Let us see first kung ano yung mga given na values dyan. We have the cost, which is 150,000, and then the salvage value of 10,000, and of course, the useful life, which is 5 years. These are the things that we're going to use, or the values that we're going to use. Okay, next, we have here how to solve it. We're going to use this first, this formula. The depreciation for each year is equal to the cost minus scrap value divided by the estimated useful life in years. So we have the cost, which is 150,000. We remove 10,000, and then the answer, you divide it into 5 years. So makukuha natin 28,000 per year. So kapag meron tayo niyan, 28,000 per year, ang sabi sa problem, monthly. So all we have to do is the depreciation expense for every month or monthly depreciation. Of course, the yearly depreciation, divide it by 12 months para makuha natin yung monthly. So meron tayong 28,000 divided by 12 months is 2,333.33. So yan na yung monthly depreciation natin. Sorry, wrong spelling. Monthly ka, no? Okay, next. We have there the depreciation expense per year. Nagagamitin natin itong formula. The straight line rate times cost minus scrap value, where the straight line rate is equal to 100% divided by estimated useful life in years. The 100% there is constant. Kasi iniisip natin na yung value ng ating equipment or yung ating asset or fixed asset, when we got it, when we acquired it, is 100%. Kapag sinabi ng acquired or acquisition is pagkuha. Okay, next. Ulitin natin ito yung ating problem na ito. We are going to use the same problem. So again, we have the cost, which is 150,000, the salvage value of 10,000, and the useful life, which is 5 years. Ulitin lang natin yan. So we're going to use this formula. And when we're going to use that, substitute lang natin 100% divided by 5 years. Unahin muna natin na kunin yung straight line rate. So kunin muna natin yung straight line rate. So we use the formula na binigay kanina, 100% divided by estimated useful life in years. Kaya meron tayong 100% divided by 5, so that is the 20%. 20% ang ating gagamitin na straight line rate. So we have that. The next would be, we are going to multiply that straight line rate doon sa ating doon dito sa ating formula. Okay, so again, 150,000 minus 10,000, that is the cost, minus the scrap value, multiplied by 20%, is still 28,000. O, diba? Same lang kanina. So, yan din yung yearly depreciation niya. So, pag kukunin natin ulit yung monthly, simple lang, divide ulit natin by 12 months, and then we get 2,333.33. See, same lang siya. So, either you use the other formula or they use the straight line rate, we are going to get the same answer. So, bahala na kayo mamili kung ano gamitin nyo. Yung convenience na lang. Okay, how do we record depreciation? When we are going to record depreciation, we debit depreciation expense. Bakit? Kasi nga, gaya ng sabi ko, yung pagbaba ng value niya, yung nawawalang value niya as the time goes by, yun yung i-record natin na expense. Yun yung nagiging expense natin. And when we record expense, we go back to the rule of debits and credits. Expenses, when we're going to increase expenses, we debit them. That's why the depreciation should be, the depreciation expense would be debited. Bakit XXX? O yung hindi yung X nyo yung natatlo. The XXX here is representing numbers that we still do not know. So, general formula ito. And then we credit here the accumulated depreciation of the fixed asset. So, i-specify natin anong fixed asset yon. Is that a building? Is that a machinery? Or whatever. Um, Again, the only asset that never depreciates is land. Mostly, tumataas lang ito. Bumababa lang ang ating land kung magkakaroon ng disaster sa isang area. Like, for example, today, nagkaroon ng disaster dun sa Visayas. Mostly, bumababa ang value ng land kapag ganun. Like here in Baguio, when we had the disaster during the 1990 earthquake, ang ating land ay bumaba as low as 100 pesos per square meter. Okay, so and then we are going to put the explanation here to recognize the depreciation for the months of anong buwan yan na depreciation. So ilalagay natin kasi malay mo kung anong buwan yan. So we have to specify it in our explanation. So yun, ulitin natin, ganito ang pag-record ng ating depreciation kapag ilalagay na natin sa journal entry natin. So if we're going to see, if we're going to journalize, yung kanina kay ALS, eto na siya. We have the date. We debit depreciation expense for the amount of 2,333.33 and then credit accumulated depreciation laundry equipment. So yan, in-specify natin yung ating fixed asset. And for the same amount, 2,333.33 and the explanation to recognize the depreciation expense for the month of June. Kasi para sa June yung ating kinompute. Ganyan lang yung pagre-record ng ating depreciation. Now, at the end, pagkatapos nating mag-record niyan, anong karugtong? Sa presentation natin, ito naman, lumalabas naman ito sa balance sheet. So, we do this in the balance sheet or kapag tatanungin sa inyo kung paano i-present yan, ganito yan. Under the part where we present our fixed assets or non-current assets, property, plant, and equipment, we write there the name of the equipment, the laundry equipment, and then write there the amount or the cost, which is 150,000 in our example. And we put less. The word less means minus. So, less accumulated depreciation, specify pa rin yung pangalan ng equipment natin, which is laundry equipment, para alam mo na yung depreciation na ito, yung accumulated depreciation, ay para sa laundry equipment na ito, which is 2,333. And then, kunin mo yung difference nila. That is what we call the net book value or the carrying value. Ano ibig sabihin ng net book value? Net book value, that is, why yung net book? Bakit book value? Kasi ang book value na yan, ay yun yung nakasulat sa libro natin. Books ang tawag natin sa records natin on these things. Kasi kapag nire-record natin yung laundry equipment, siguro may isa siyang sariling record. Ang tawag natin sa kanya sa finances is books. Kaya net book value or what we call carrying value. Yung value na nung ating equipment as of the latest date. So, pagsasabihin, as of June, as of June 30, ito yung value ng ating laundry equipment. Dati, nung kinuha mo, 150,000 na, 150,000 siya, pero dahil nag-depreciate siya, ginamit mo during the month, naging 147,667.67 na siya. Now, baka ang tanong na teacher na nababawasan ba yung accumulated depreciation? As the months go by or as the years go by, nadadagdagan at nadadagdagan yan. Kaya yung netbook or netbook value natin o yung value ng ating laundry equipment ay bumababa naman. What if it reached already the 5 years? Kapag 5 years na yan at ang matitira na lang, so, syempre hanggang sa ang matitira na lang dyan is yung ating net book value. Kapag na-reach na niya yung net book value niya, which is sabihin natin na maybe 10% of this one, kapag na-reach na yung net book value na 15,000, siguro pag 10% ang sinet natin, hindi na tayo magdi-depreciate ton kasi yun na yung net book value niya. So, wala ka nang i-recognize na depreciation that time kapag na-reach na niya yung life niya, mag-remain na lang na ganun na lang lagi. So, ang i-carry lang niya is yung net book value niya. And we stop recording depreciation expense and accumulated depreciation the moment that the equipment reached its estimated life. So, that's it. So, again, ang depreciation is pagbaba ng mga value ng ating mga assets. Baka tatanungin nyo, ma'am, sabi mo noon, yung asset namin bumababa. Oo, yung asset mo, tingnan mo yung sarili mo. Dati cute ka nung bata ka. O, di ba? Hanggang ngayon ba cute ka pa rin? O, di ba? Kung hindi ka nag-cute, nag-depreciate na. Yun. Nag-depreciate na siya.
So that is for our depreciation. So if you have questions or clarifications, you can text or you can message your teacher, and you can also message me if you have questions. So i-clarify natin. Okay?